many circles, right, they also talk about or they recommend blockchain, like it's a separate technology than entropy itself, and that can be used to protect any kind of healthcare data, including things like DICOMs and other file formats which are there, particularly from things like ransomware and all of that, because inherently, right, blockchain has that attribute of providing immutability. It does not change, or the integrity of the file. It's also better in terms of decentralized information storage that we generally have for hospital systems or healthcare systems that are in place. It is scalable in many ways. Do you see, like, what do you think, totally, like, your opinion on whether blockchain is better or entropy is better, or do you think they are completely for different problem statements?
That's for completely two different problem statements, Single. So
Okay.
if you see blockchain, I would say blockchain is just more of a decentralized way of storing data. That's how the whole cryptocurrency came into picture, right? However, you can still use blockchain to make a decentralized threat intelligence database where nobody tampers the threat intelligence, or it's independent of influences from the industry or from researchers. I see it that way. I might be wrong, but that's how I see it. Now, entropy is more of a thermodynamic or science-based concept that I would probably bring in as an add-on factor to convict a file more confidently. I mean, today we can convict files using Yara rules, using signature patterns, using static analysis techniques and dynamic analysis techniques. But there, if you want to use entropy as a detection mechanism or a convicting mechanism, I would usually use it from a standpoint saying, hey, I see this X bunch of keywords in the document, like, or the PowerShell keywords. Now, I would score it as one thing. Okay. I would score this as X. Okay. Now I'm 10% confident or 30% confident this file could be malicious. Now, when I bring in the entropy side of things, I'm going to say, hey, you know what? This looks abnormal. And again, I add a 30% weightage to my confidence scoring and say, hey, you know what? Now it's 60%. Now, then you see there are other behavioral aspects of the file. Then you add again 30%. Now, entropy adds as a scoring mechanism and helps you to convict a file confidently. I mean, with a lot of confidence, you can convict a file, and it is more of a conviction methodology which you can use, and for an analysis methodology where you can either raise a red flag or a green flag. But it's not the ultimatum to say, hey, you know what, the entropy is in place, let's flag a file bad. I think you would fall flat there because your false positive would hit the roof usually. So yeah, these are two separate technologies, Neelu. That's what, as far as I've known. I mean, these are two different entities.
Yeah, but with my experience of entropy, right, particularly when we use that for secrets management, so we also have tools that use entropy for that. And my experience is that while it is good to detect things which are little obfuscated differently, for many cases it will give you false positives. So on a day-to-day basis, and this might be different for secrets management, but I think inherently that is how entropy behaves, is that like you were also talking about, for while we keep recommending that when you're storing files, or have them encrypted, and you yourself mentioned that entropy may not work great there. So how does entropy work in case of false positive? Because more on a day-to-day basis, this might actually have more false positives. What have you seen for example, patient data files that you've been using, or DICOM files that you've been using with respect to entropy and false positives?
So I cannot divulge much into that patient information and the entropy. However, I'll give you another answer of how to use entropy. Okay. Let's take a classic case of PDF. Okay. Let's say a PDF is encrypted, Neelu, or if it's obfuscated. If I take entropy, it will throw a huge false positive. But as I mentioned, right, entropy is not the only answer to your detection. Now I'll add another parameter here. This will be useful for a lot of people who are watching it. Malware, if you observe PDF-based malwares, they'll never come more than 2 pages. If you ever observe a PDF page will never be, you don't even need to.
You don't need
it's
to.
Maximum gonna be 1. Okay. I'll give you another clue here. Now there are three aspects that we can convict a file. Whoever is watching it can build an idea off of it. Just feel free to give me credits to it. Okay, so so let's take these two. Let's take these interesting examples. I have a PDF-based malware. I want to convict it. One is entropy. Now, entropy, if it's obfuscated, it's going to throw a false positive. Okay, let's say the file is obfuscated. A lot of PowerShell script is being obfuscated, and that's going to throw a high one. Now, set it aside. Now, second thing, what you'll observe is page numbers. Let's say there's only one page number. That's a tick mark. Malwares usually have one page, and it's not a false positive now. Now, the third and important thing is word count. Have you ever seen PDF-based malwares have more than 100 words or 50 words? It'll only say, hey, click here or run this. This document is protected. This document is private. You have been chosen to view this document. This is your invoice that is being credited. Something of that sort. Not more than, there's not more than 150 or 200 words. And you can always check the word count for it. And always check the number of hyperlinks inside it. Now, if I combine entropy with the number of pages, with the number of words, with number of hyperlinks, can't I give you a cleaner verdict saying if it's a malware or not? You can avoid false positives. So the entropy alone does not. That was the example I wanted to give you. The entropy alone never gives you the whole,
the right picture.
Absolutely. So this is how we use entropy.
Other indicators. Yeah.
There have been a lot of indicators that you can use. And this is probably the top of mind that if I take an Excel sheet malware, I would say number of words, but this number of sheets concept will not work. I've seen Excel malwares which had more than 10,000 or 12,000 rows. I think it was 7,000 to 10,000 rows were there. Or like, that's a max out. Okay, the reason being is if you try to scroll down, the Excel will slow down. Now that's an awful turn off, right? When you see that, so that can be one. Second thing is we'll see if the Excel sheet is hidden or not. There are hidden sheets malware. This was also happening in pandemic, where a lot of Excel-based malwares came as mal spam. When you open the Excel sheet, nothing was there. But when you had to do a lot of analysis. This is where again static analysis will not work. Now you will have to go to the internals of the Excel sheet, where you will find a bit parity bit which is 10111000. I think if it's 10 or 01, it means the sheet is hidden. You'll have to change the sheet to 11. Then one Excel sheet will appear and a tab will appear inside it. Sheet, no, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. The sheet 2 will appear. Sometimes it will be in a Russian text. Okay, you cannot even go by names. Now the character will be abnormally wrong. Now that will contain the PowerShell code inside it. So there are like several combination factors that you'll have to add to, make entropy shine bright.
Yeah. Thanks for that. I think to be able to optimize, essentially, we can use more indicators than just entropy. But this is like one of the fundamental indicators.